Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today for another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. As you can see, I'm playing Bretonnia. So, going back to basics, this is Bretonnia versus Empire, which I haven't done in ages. It's just, you know, it's great to go back to the Game 1 races. I've been playing so much of the new stuff lately, it's pretty refreshing. Obviously, do have Regiments of Renown, but I only brought the one. I only brought the Holy Wardens of La Mazantal, which, as you can see, have magic and fire damage. Not really going to do much against Empire, to be honest, but they got good combat stats. They do alright. So here we've got Spearmen at Arms on either side and a load of Men at Arms with shields in the middle. But the main killing power of my front line here is actually going to be all the archers. I've got 2 Peasant Bowmen with pox and 2 with fire. So these guys should get some good damage in. Be able to just, you know, the 4 of them combining their strength, just hitting one unit, it's going to do a lot of damage. Also, Damsel of Life in the back here to heal things up. And the things that really need healing are down here. I've got my 2 Grail Knights. So these guys obviously crazy formidable, huge charge bonus to 78. Magic damage, again, you know, not hugely helpful, but it's whatever. They just do so much damage. And anti-large as well. And frankly, they just hit so hard with that charge bonus, they can kill infantry for days. They're very formidable if you cycle charge them. Also, I have King Luan Leonka, which I have not brought in a long time. I like this guy. He's pretty good. You know, he regenerates. He's got some cool buffs and debuffs. So I quite like it. And on this map, having a Flying Lord is going to be very useful because basically I can skirt along the edges here, avoid any fire, and if I need to get him in combat, he can just go whoop and hop in and fight stuff. So the Empire player here, you can see he's got some spearmen with shields, he's got some swordsmen, just sort of a mixture of, you know, state troops in the front line. He's got a couple of great swords, which of course will make really short work of any of my front line. So these guys are going to need to be focused down pretty quickly. He's also got Sterling's Revenge. I quite like these guys. They're quite good at melee. They can fight off peasants without any problems, but they have armor-piercing missiles, so that's pretty cool. So I like that. Also, he's got the Royal Altdorf Griffites, so these guys obviously very formidable at killing, you know, sort of enemy large units, good armor piercing, so they're good for killing knights. And they do actually cause terror, which is very cool. So I do like them. You know, against Bretonnia, you know, you can scare peasants or kill cav, so works out pretty well. He's also got Karl Franz. That's how classic we're going with this battle, so I really like that. So he's obviously got all his abilities. Here he's got a Light Wizard. So again, just such a classic, you know, lineup here with the Altdorf Griffites and the Light Wizard. So he can basically pin down cavalry and then get the charge bonus on them, which is pretty good. Although the main thing is, if you can stop the cavalry from getting their charge bonus off, you're going to be way better off, because you do not want that charge bonus hitting you. So also he has some more spearmen in the back to guard his back line. He also has some handgunners, some good AP, and he has the Hammer of the Witches. These guys will just chew up cavalry, but it's an awkward map for him, you know. I've got my cavalry going down the bottom, and, you know, anything here isn't really valuable enough to shoot at with that, so, you know, pretty good. But if he can keep me off of it, you know, pin me down with the Net of Ammontok, he could get some good work done. So I'll have to watch out for that. So we're going to speed things up. It will actually take a while to run down here, so come on, guys. So yeah, this should work out pretty well. You know, having this sort of cavalry down here, infantry up here. Obviously, if he charged me, I'd be able to get my cavalry up here instead. So, you know, I have options on this map, but it's very easy to stay out of cannon fire, because right now, Lewin isn't going to get shot by the cannon, because he can just skirt along the edge at the bottom here. He's still nice and close to where he needs to get to, but he's not going to get killed on the approach. So that is ruddy useful for me. So, yeah, so the front line's going to be moving up. I'm going to move them slightly to one side so they're closer to the edge of the map. And I'm actually going to use this edge to my advantage, because if he tries to go wide, go around me, or anything like that, anything on this side I can fire at with all my arrows, and as soon as it routes off, it'll move about 2 feet, and it'll be gone forever. So that'll be a good place to start, definitely. So I'm shifting over to one side, so basically I'm in line with this, you know, I was in line with this and that's not good enough, I want to be here, so I can block this sort of choke point, you know, so it should work out pretty well. So cavalry moving around the side, still waiting for a chance to come in really, because obviously I want these guys to get in the fray and start pinning things down before I charge in here. So I'll need to wait a little bit. But you can see he's setting up his cannon, and he will actually start shooting at my damsel in a second, which is definitely a good target. Because, well, she's going to be very valuable. If you can kill her early before she uses any winds of magic, then yeah, that's hugely beneficial for him. I won't be able to heal up any of my guys. So she's actually, I'm going to bob and weave, and I realise, you know what, I'll just go down here. Screw it. So she's going to go down there. So here, he is trying to sneak around the side. So I'm going to start throwing units outwards to the side just to pin all this stuff in place. So you can see here I've got my arrows starting to fire into the spearmen, and I'm going to intercept. So if I get some good damage into these guys, look how close they are to the edge. They're going to rout so quickly. These guys too. So yeah, I'll be able to get rid of 2 units very quickly. Obviously he can do the same to me, but yeah, I've got a bit more fire support, so hopefully I can route his stuff quicker. So I was trying to get a bit of damage on Sigmar's Sons because they're unbreakable. It's nice to hit them early, so your front line can have a bit of a better shot at fighting them. Obviously I don't have to worry about the terror or anything from the Royal Altdorf Gryphites in my front line because I do have the Grail Relic Way for now, so that's good news. So I'm going to be coming into the back, and obviously he's got his Light Wizard lying in wait, so as I charge in here, he will actually try and net this stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So here, I'm actually going to send King Lewin straight after the Hammer of the Witches. Because what's nice is because he's got the Gryphites on this side, if he tries to charge me, he's going to run into the cannons, and he's not going to be hitting Leonker. So this is actually a great thing to do. And look at the damage I'm doing to him so quickly. He does also have handgunners shooting at me, but I'm getting my spearmen. I managed to get my spearmen around the side. And here, I'm going to get my Grail Knights around the side, and I'm going to get into these handgunners. Over here, though, he did net the Grail Knights, so he is getting a bit pinned down. Obviously, Karl Franz, you know, with his Reichland Runefang and everything, he can hit pretty hard. And Spearmen are just so cheap, it doesn't matter. And without the charge bonus, you can see I've barely done any damage. So I'm going to move them out and around. And here, I do get into his handgunners. Over here, though, you can see I'm suffering a lot. The Royal Altdorf Gryphites are doing some huge damage to King Lewin, so that's not good. But that Hammer of the Witches is gone. So these guys will see that there are spearmen nearby soon and run away. Over on this side, Greatsword's obviously cleaned up here. A couple of those units have fled off to the side, and now I'm focusing down these Greatswords with everything I have. You can see I've suffered very little damage in the front line from my units here, so that's pretty great. So obviously, you know, the real peasants, you know, the spearmen at arms and the man at arms, they're suffering a bit, but that's understandable. So here, Grail Knights are going to be charging into the back, still bogging this stuff down. Managed to deal with these handgunners, and I pulled these guys out again because the spearmen were on top of me. So here I'm going to charge in. Amazingly, the Stern's Revenge are running in melee, which is a bit silly. And here, beautiful net stops me getting that charge, and I'm being pursued by spearmen again. So that's not good. So in the front line here, you can see one unit of Greatsword has managed to charge through. He's trying to shut down my archers because he can see they are getting so much value. But Greatsword's just fighting peasant bowmen. I'll let these guys die. That's fine. Bog them down for a bit, and I can throw these man-at-arms at them in a second. So here I did manage to get rid of these Greatswords. So that's huge. So hugely beneficial for me. And here you can see he does have me with a spearman. Leonco is still going. I've had to use a Earthblood on him at one point. I did actually have the damsel running in here causing interference, but Karl started chasing her, so I had to flee with her, which is a shame. But she's done a job. She wasn't killed, and she's been healing stuff as she goes. So it's pretty good. I think this has had a couple of Earthbloods as well, actually. So that's pretty handy. So now Leonco is being attacked by Karl Franz, and we can't have that. So I'm actually going to charge in, pull into these spearmen. The Grail Knights here are going to dive on top of his wizard, because that's the target he really wants to save. So hopefully I can get some, you know, pull this stuff apart a bit. So Grail Knights running away from the spearmen. They will get nipped in the heels a bit by the Royal Altdorf Gryphites, which is not good for me, but as long as I can get most of these guys out, it should be good. So here, unfortunately, Stern's Revenge are attacking me, and I can't have that. So here, I do actually charge into the spearman. He tries to block me in, but with the mass, I can just pass through. They weren't braced, so I'm going to pass these guys right through, and then into this blob again. So Leonco is lying in wait. Here, I managed to focus down these Greatswords just by the amount of fire I'm firing at them. So that's pretty great. So back here, you can see the Hammer of the Witches is coming back online. So I will be coming in with Leonco again onto Karl Franz, who is super injured, charging into the handgunners here to give them a break. And now I'm charging with the Grail Knights as well, doing a lot of damage to Franz here. An awful lot of damage. You see the Altdorf Gryphite still trying to chase. He's got stuff coming back in, but his front line is devastated. So suddenly I have all of this stuff is free to come and march onto here. And looks like Karl Franz is almost dead. So that is not good. You can see the balance of power super in my favour. Franz dies, and that causes a shatter. So not surprising, really. That was pretty brutal. Just 2 units of Grail Knights and Leonco in the back line. Threw in the damsel a bit. Had that 1 unit spearman that crawled in, and all that expensive stuff was just... well, yeah, he just couldn't get value out of any of it. And the fact that his front line was so far away from it all, they couldn't just charge in, do the odd little, beneficial charge here while I was busy running away or stuff was netted. He couldn't bring his spearmen back, because that would have been a long way to travel, and then I would have followed up with my peasants, got surrounds on this stuff, that would have crumbled quicker. He was in a bit of a tough spot, honestly. He just had nothing to shut down my archers, and that meant that my really, really cheap front line was able just to hold off everything. I mean, yeah, the Greatsword's got a ton of kills, but at the end of the day, the archers just murdered them all. They couldn't really do much about it. So, pretty brutal. But, wasn't it great to see Lewin and Karl, having a fight? Like the good old days. So, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, really enjoyed this fight. I think, handgunners, Stern's Revenge, I think all of this stuff is a good build against Bretonnia. I think I don't know, it might have been better to have... And he does have a lot of spearmen. You know what? I like this build. I think this is a good build. I just don't think it was the map for it, unfortunately. He just couldn't get use out of his cannons, you know? If this was on, like, some big flat map, my Ground Knights would have been torn apart by this guy. I would have lost so much value so quickly. And it would have made that back line so much safer for him. And, yeah, it would have been rough. I'm not sure how I would have dealt with it. That cannon would have got so much value. But as it stood, he only killed a few peasants. It's all he could do. It's all he could kill. So that made it incredibly difficult. Royal Otto Gryphites, I think, did a fine job. Only 16 kills, but they were all Grail Knights. So that's pretty great. And it kept his back line a lot safer, you know. He was able to follow up with spearmen, and it made it very difficult for me to sort of maneuver those Grail Knights. I was having to be really cautious to make sure they were only in fights that I either needed to keep stuff bogged down in, or, you know, were favourable to me. It was tough. A lot of little decisions I had to make during that fight. So it was very interesting. But yeah, just losing the Hammer of the Witches that early. And there's nothing you could really have done about it, you know? Just having Lewin just dive on top of it, you can shut it down so quickly. And Lewin won't die quickly. You've really got to focus him down with a lot. And when there's Grail Knights running around, you know, all in your back line, what do you do? You know, what do you do? So, yeah, it's definitely a tough one for the Empire here, I think. But the map was a huge boon for me. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.